Welcome GoProers. I'm on the E5 trail, long distance walk, Constance to Venice. Constance to Verona at least. Climbed over the mountains, walked over the mountains. Today from Germany. And I'm walking up now, the final 45 minutes hopefully, to my accommodation for this evening, the Memminger Hütte. A big lodge for people walking across the Alps. There's the view, folks. That's where I came from today, those far distant Alps. Walking down to a village called Holzgau, and from Holzgau I got a special shuttle taxi to bring me into the bottom of the valley there, just where I'm pointing, and to begin this final 2-hour stretch hiking up to the Memminger Hütte. It's decent weather today, so it's great. Tomorrow it's not going to be so nice. So join me in the higher Alps here, Tyrol, Austria. This is my 4th day of walking. Got a few more to go. Another 5, I think. Whew. Holzgau Hütte. I hope you are enjoying the view. I'm looking forward to a bit of supper tonight. This walk, this hike, which if you do the full hike takes 4 weeks to negotiate. I'm only doing a 10-day section initially, and then possibly finishing off later on in the summer. I certainly like to do another week, so that's 3 weeks, and then maybe a 4th week another time. But this is a nostalgia tour for me, trail for me. I organised and did this walk 25 years ago, and in celebration of that and in memory of 2 people that were on the walk with me, I'm doing it again. 2 of those walkers had unexpected early deaths. So this is in memory of Harry Rennie, who died through injuries he sustained from a motoring accident. He was a great character. Steeplejack by trade, crane driver, no fear of heights. Was a bundle of lunacy for the whole time he was on the walk. Harry's gone. And last summer My brother-in-law, Peter Lane, was the next. Peter Lane was the map reader. Something he really enjoyed doing. I bought all the maps, looked at them many weeks and months before we went on the expedition, but then hardly ever looked at them again, and Pete was the one that studied the maps every night. And the guidebook that we had, that was only in German at that time, and we negotiated our way along the European walkway number 5 from Constance, on Lake Constance, through down to Venice eventually, walking over 4 countries: Switzerland, Germany, Austria and Italy, pretty much in that order. It was the best thing I ever did. And 25 years ago we had no mobile phone, no email, no Facebook, no YouTube. The walk was pretty unheard of in the UK. There wasn't even a guidebook on it available at that time. So I bought the German guidebook and did some very basic translations for my friends on the walk. There was about 10 of us. And everybody said it was the best thing they'd ever done in their lives. So I'm the lucky one, I get to do it twice. And I'm doing it to document it a little bit more with the help of video and live stream and photos. But I'm also doing it to inspire people to do it themselves, particularly the descendants of Harry and Peter. Peter Lane's 4 daughters and their husbands and their children. They may want to do it themselves in a few years' time. How about that for a view? Won't be long now and we'll get sight of the we'll get sight of the Memminger Lodge from a distance. I seem to remember from 25 years ago. And I'll get there just before the kitchen closes. Chance to have some supper and a cold drink to go with it. It's my birthday today, Friday the 18th of August. So I'm hoping to meet up with 1 or 2 people that are ahead of me, and we'll have a little celebratory drink. My biggest birthday present is being on the walk. Once again. I'm just testing the GoPro. I'm still having to get used to it. I've got the body camera on my chest and it recommends 2.7 setting, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find the 2.7, so I've got it on 1440, I think. So it may not be ideal. I've had 4 good days weather-wise. It's even rained a bit, thundery skies at night, but during the day been really nice weather. That's all going to change from tomorrow. Temperatures are going to drop by 15 degrees in the valleys below. And in the mountains above, who knows? Maybe as little as 1 or 2 degrees above freezing. Certainly the forecast said between 4 and 14 degrees. Might get a bit of snow even. Have to put the long trousers on, I think. Welcome to the Lechtaler Alps. This is Bernie. Enjoying, in a masochistic type of way, walking the E5 after 25 years. It's a great trail. I've been doing regular live streams on Facebook, but they don't last very long. And 1 or 2 people have asked me to do longer scopes or longer videos because they love the landscape so much. So if this one comes out, I might well post it to Facebook and Twitter and maybe YouTube. A little bit more of this windy climbing, and then it should open out a little bit more and we'll get views, I'm sure, of the Memminger Hut, the Memminger Lodge. It's the first time I've used my GoPro camera ever since I had it. Hardly ever used it. But it takes a bit of getting used to for a 60-year-old with not very good eyesight and with the miniature screen and settings on the Hero Black camera. It's hard work. There's a few people on the trail behind me. You can see them down by that little bridge crossing. One of them, I think, is carrying an injury. And there's a few quite a way up ahead of me. That's the last bit of steep climbing, I think. What you can see up there. And once you come out of that little gap, it should be a little bit more open and less climbing. Stay with me, folks. The thing about this kind of mountain hiking is you don't have to run, you don't have to be the fastest. Just a steady plod at times when you're starting to feel the gradient. Just a steady plod. will get you there. I've been doing this kind of steady plot for 4 days now. It's up some really steep gradients. Consumed probably over a gallon of water. In fact, I'm going to stop for a water break. Excuse me while I find my water bottle. There it is. I'll save the last drop just in case. Oh, it's not so easy getting that bloody bottle back in again. Come on, get in there, you bugger. I think I'm in. Right, keep going, Bernie. Supper's ready. A slow, steady plod. The more you do this, the easier it is to keep going. You get some stamina that kind of keeps you plodding away at altitude as well. And you'll get to a stage where you want to just stop and have a rest. That's okay. But sometimes you don't need to rest for long. You just momentarily stop. Get your breathing back under control. You can see some people coming up now. How about that for a lovely view? Get your breathing under control and start again. It's amazing what your body will adapt to. The poles come in useful for steep climbs up the mountain and for the walking paths coming down the mountain. They act as a brake, they act as a steadying device, and going up you shorten the sticks a little bit and you take the strain off your legs by using your arms. Grüß Gott. Jetzt wird es nicht mehr so weit sein. Halbe, dreiviertel Stunde, super. Schöne Tour noch. Danke. The guys are on their way down from the Memminger Hütte, where I'm staying tonight. They've said another 30 to 45 minutes. That's okay. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, by using your arms with your adjustable walking poles, it just takes the load off your legs a bit. Imagining going skiing down that slope. As with all mountain sports, you need to know how and when to apply the brake. Some things on this walk these past 4 days have suddenly come back into my memory. Certain sections of the walk, of the climb, of the scramble, hanging onto metal ropes on the side of a rock face, narrow ledges, ladders in the rock. Certain things come back to your mind, to your memory, but very many things I completely forgotten about. Luckily I've got the diary notes that Peter Lane wrote in 1992. That does highlight those exciting parts. If you're watching, this is my day 4. My 4th day of walking, one day after another. On the E5, European walkway number 5, heading towards South Tyrol, Italy, slowly but surely. Here's a nice little ladder. Instead of vertically on the rock face, it's lying down. There's a bit of a lookout tower here. Lovely greens, blue sky. Blue sky over that way anyway. A little bit more cloudy that way. That's the valley that we drove up today. A van had to bring us up to a starting point at the bottom of the valley I've been walking at least an hour and a half, possibly 2. The sun will be going down that side of the valley quite shortly, and I'm going to continue to plod up this hill until I see the Memminger Lodge, and that will fill me with inspiration and gratitude that I've made it, almost made it, for another day. Oh look, a little staircase. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow, follow. Follow, follow. Follow the yellow brick road. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. I wonder if I'll get a hot shower tonight. Last night was a cold shower, mainly because the mountain lodge was full, completely packed. 120 odd people, I suppose. And the heating for the water system is from solar panels. And there's only so much heat that the solar panels can store. So, me and quite a few other people had to have cold showers. Sometimes at this height you can hear the sound of marmots. They make a whistling sound. Little beaver-like creatures that come out of their holes and disappear down the holes pretty quickly when they hear people walking by or coming close. So maybe we'll hear some whistling before we get to the Memminger Lodge. There was a young German man who was in the van coming from the village of Holzgau to where we started this hike. He was sweating from top to bottom. He'd been running. In fact, he ran over the mountains from where I left yesterday morning, and he's going to continue to run over the mountains heading for Murano in Italy. And his intention is to try and run Oberstdorf in Bavaria to Murano, South Tyrol, Italy, within 24 hours. He thinks it can be done. Unbelievable. That same stretch is going to take me 5 days walking. There's a nice view. Welcome to Heidi Land. Keep going, Bernie. I'm wearing my breathable Berghaus long-sleeved sweater, which I've bought especially for the E5 expedition in 1992, and I wear it regularly for running and mountain trails. 25 years old and it still breathes, it still is in very wearable condition. There's a bit more of uphill, although it's a little bit more drawn out, so it's going to take another 15 to 20 minutes before we see any sign of the accommodation. Supper usually is served till about 7:30 or 8, and then once people retire to their beds, which is not always a bedroom, it's very often a thing they call Matratzenlager. The attic section of the building has long mattresses. In fact, several long mattresses with blankets, pillow and sheet very often, where people just lay down next to each other and go to sleep. Despite the sneezing and coughing and snoring, it sometimes is possible to get a few hours shut-eye. And it's always lights out at 10 o'clock. Everybody is normally glad to be lying down by 10, and the lights in the building switch off automatically. That's how it is on the mountain lodge. People are very responsible. When they've had their breakfast, they pick up the crockery, take it back, dispose of the plastic containers in one bin, and jams and pieces of bread in another bin. And when there's hundreds of people in the mountain lodge, you've got to have organisation. It's a bit like the military. You've got to take your mountain boots off downstairs, hang them up to air. In fact, you can hang all your clothes up to air or dry if it's been raining. So it's all nice and dry again and fresh, reasonably fresh for the next day. There's some nice peaks, mountain peaks, poking up over the horizon. Maybe another 10 or 12 minutes before we get to see the lodge in the distance. Keep going. Keep plodding. No sound of any marmots yet. What a lovely view. That was worth the blood. Worth the plodding. Just about where those two guys are is where I think we might get a view of the Memminger Lodge. I can see one 2, 3, 4 peaks within this space that have got a cross on the top of them, which is what they normally have in Austria, a crucifix of some sort on the mountain peaks. And there it is. I can remember it from 25 years ago. The Memminger Lodge. What a glorious sight that is. What a glorious sight. Keep the camera going and walk you into the lodge. It'll be a very full lodge, I think. Weekends are their busiest times. During the week it's sometimes possible to get a bunk bed or a proper bed in a room for 2 or 4. But the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is pretty much impossible unless you book it many, many months ahead. I'm glad we got this view just for you on this GoPro test video. And it's plain sailing from here on, with the promise of a cold drink at the end of it, a hot meal, and some happy hikers. It makes it all worth it. The arduous plod up is tough, but you know, I keep telling myself it does you good. Improves your fitness, it improves your determination to accomplish. And there's the prize. There's the prize. It's quite cool now. Sun's going down. I think the clouds will move in tonight. And tomorrow the sky will look like this. Cloudy and grey. With rain. Prolonged rain apparently as well. So I'll probably get wet tomorrow. Das war schon anstrengend, gell?
Ja,
Teilweise.
aber ging noch gut.
Ja. Wo geht's hier morgen?
Zur Ansbacher Hütte.
Aha.
Wir hoffen mal, dass es heute Nacht regnet und morgen dann trocken wird.
Das wäre fein, ja.
Aber angekündigt ist es so, dass es auch morgen tagsüber noch,
Ja.
besonders am Vormittag ordentlich regnet.
Mhm. Und ich habe keinen Schirm mit.
Schirm haben wir auch nicht mit. Aber Regenjacke.
Ja. Regenjacke habe ich ein bisschen was.
Es war ja schon angekündigt, dass es heute Abend ausregnen soll.
Ja. Ja, es hat in den letzten 3 Abende, wo ich übernachtet habe, Staufnerhaus zuerst und gestern Kemptner Hütte, hat es geregnet auf Nacht.
Aha. Aber nur nachts.
Nur nachts.
Machen Sie E5?
Ja.
Dann haben wir vor 2 Jahren gemacht.
Ja, schön. Die ganze Strecke oder noch?
Ja, bis nach Meran.
Ach so. Ja, das ist.
Nicht ganze Strecke, also das ist noch genau. Für uns war das
Ich
so-
mache es heute auch.
Ja.
Morgen kommt meine Schwester
Ja.
dazu in Sams und wir gehen dann bis Meran.
Ja,
Vor 25 Jahren haben wir von Konstanz am Bodensee die Strecke gemacht bis Verona.
wow.
Da waren wir 4 Wochen unterwegs.
Nee, das
Aber
ist
so schön.
Ja, ordentlich. Ne?
Ja.
Wir waren eine Woche unterwegs und hat richtig Spaß gemacht.
Ja,
Also,
toll.
Ja.
Es ist schon schön, wenn man Glück hat, halbwegs am Wetter zu kommen.
Ja, aber am Ende muss man das so nehmen, wie es kommt. Ne?
Ja, genau. Nette Unterkünfte überall, gell? Meistens
Ja,
ab und zu eine kalte Dusche, dann wieder eine warme Dusche.
exakt, genau. Aber immer was gut zu essen.
Ja,
Ja, Zams, das ist ein ordentlicher Abstieg. Das ist,
Ja.
Halt
ja,
rauf und runter. Und
genau. Schöner Abstieg. Der Mann mit dem Zopf, der in unser Auto war,
ja,
gell?
genau, ja.
Das ist ein Athlet.
Ja.
Er testet Oberstdorf nach Meran, ob es in 24 Stunden laufen kann.
Krass. Ja.
Stell dir vor.
Wir haben wirklich 6 Tage gebraucht.
Ja,
Ja.
das ist ja extrem.
Das ist extrem, ja.
Das kann für den Körper auch nicht so gesund sein.
Ja, und auch in der Nacht, finde ich, zu laufen ist auch
Ja,
nicht ohne. Ne?
na. 24 Stunden, also ich muss noch staunen.
Ja. Aber er hat Taxi genommen, ne?
Ja,
Also alles ist menschlich.
ja, das stimmt.
Ja, aber ist ordentlich. 24 Stunden.
Hm. I'm getting some extra strength knowing that the end 25 years ago Pete and I, Salvatore and John, Stuart and Pam, who was the competition winner, I think we all approached this hut together along this very path. And the hut looks exactly the same as it was 25 years ago. What a feeling. Grüße. How about that for a view? And that cold beer.
Ich wollte sparen.
How about that for a view?
Erst habe ich meine Haare eingeschossen und dann kam nichts mehr. Dann konnte ich sie eiskalt ausmachen. Dann habe ich André schon vorgemacht.
Ich habe mich
Let's go inside and check in.
Ah, okay. Oh. Wir hatten nämlich uns das nochmal umgeguckt, weil wir eigentlich kein Zimmer gebucht hatten. Okay. Die hatten uns bei Zimmer ähnlich beantwortet. Ich habe da ja uns bekommen.
Ah, da ist the shoe on. Welcome to the boot room. As you can see, there's a few people in the house who were required to take our muddy boots off, which is only normal. Oh, I got such a thirst. Not worried about the food. Now, where can I leave my boots so I can find them the next day? In here, I think. And it's a bit of a risk sometimes leaving expensive sticks. Servus. I'm going to leave mine behind the fire extinguisher. Please be there tomorrow. I got the